So this is where the ghost lives. Multiple actors have said that they've seen the little boy. Actors have done seances and talked to them.
All of the shows that I go to here as an audience member, I enjoy, but I also am terrified because I put myself, like, if I was a performer, this would probably be the most terrifying atmosphere for me because it's so close and intimate. Like, I performed on stage in front of like hundreds, and that's fine. But here, it's like, I feel like they're going to judge me so closely. So.
Oh, yeah. When you're in an intimate space like this, then your energy actually improves because the audience is right there, and they're reacting. So then, like usually like in a big space, like another theater, maybe like Diamond Head or UH Manoia.
Right.
The audience, you can hear the audience laugh,
right.
Like that. But then over here, you can hear, like you can hear them sniffle, and then you can feel when their attention is there, and maybe when it's wavering. So then, like the other night, last Wednesday, today is Friday, was their first audience. And then I tell them, this is the most important rehearsal because you're going to begin to gauge what the audience is understanding or appreciating. And then after that, I tell them, now forget all of that. So then today, just concentrate on talking to each other and listening to each other. And then let the audience be who they're going to be, But then, that initial feedback with the audience, especially in an intimate space like this.
Yeah.
And, the odd thing is that because the audience is so close here, you don't get that kind of theatrical kind of acting, like that. It's closer to how you might act on film. Yeah.
I've so many times when I see the actors exit stage here, I go, what does it look like back there? Where are they going?
Yeah, of course.
Would you mind?
No. Here, come. You can see first of all, the theater is an odd shape, right? It's not like a true black box. So then like a real black box would just be a box. But then there's this room right here. And then that's actually stairs to upstairs.
Oh.
Yeah. So there, upstairs is the offices for the state library system.
No way.
Yeah, we're in a state building. So then like we can't rent the space because we rent it from the state. For some reason, they really like having us here.
Oh.
Yeah, because we tell Hawaiʻi stories. So then they've never bothered us. But if we were to go out there when the show is running and go up the stairs, an alarm would go off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Leeward Community College kids, like that, after they've gotten the program and they can say they came to see the show, they try to sneak out that way, but then they walked upstairs and set off the alarm. Yeah, and then
So what was this building originally purposed for, or this space, I guess?
Oh, it was the Kamehameha V post office. Oh. It's actually the first concrete steel reinforced building west of the Mississippi.
Oh, that's an interesting fact.
Yeah, and then I mean, and you can't quote me. I mean, don't quote me on this, but the space gets hit by lightning a lot because there's so much steel in it. And then so it recalibrates the air conditioner.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and so we have to call them up in an emergency. Oh my God, we're having a show, but the air conditioning isn't working, and then they'll come and recalibrate the air conditioner. Through this curtain, where is it? Where's the opening? Over here is actually a door that opens to the outside.
Oh wow. A door to a door.
Yeah, because
Wow.
And so that's Bethel.
Oh.
And then there's another entrance. Yeah, I can show it to you. But then this is how the actors sneak back and forth. So then like when you come and you act at Kumu Kahua Theatre, you gotta right now there isn't any, but then like there's umbrellas. So the actors have to have umbrellas, and
because if it's raining outside.
Yeah, they have to put their slippers over here because they have to enter barefoot. Yeah, there's all kinds of different things you have to do.
So somebody theoretically could be walking the sidewalk, and then a character runs outside, and then the person not knowing their characters start talking story, and
they're
off the show.
There was a show once where the the people backstage were dressed like ninjas.
Oh no.
I mean, they're usually dressed like ninjas because they have to be in black. And then somebody saw him sneaking in this door.
Oh my God.
And then when he snuck back out, there was a SWAT team with guns, like, going like this. Hey, get on the ground! And he went on the ground, and he said that he was worried that I would be angry because he's gonna miss his entrance. And then the police came to the door, and they were looking at me, and I came, and they're like, "Do you know this man?" And they go, "Oh yeah, yes, I know him. He's an actor here." And I said, I told you." I said, "Oh, okay." Well, they saw him sneaking in here, and
this small part of it gives me such a greater appreciation because you just imagine like, oh, they're in a theater that's all set up for, theater things, but you guys kind of had to work around the space to create what you need for your performances.
You had to, everything's had to been repurposed. And do you want to see the other?
Yes, please.
Okay, here.
This is the one that I always see people like Alan Okubo go in and out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, where is that guy going?
Yeah, right. In Aloha, Las Vegas. Here, let me make sure that. Yeah, in Aloha, Las Vegas, this would have been his entrance.
Wow, this is a lot tighter than I imagined.
Oh, yeah. And, wow. So then there are all these kinds of rules because the buildings were old that they made new things. So this is not a real fire exit, right? Because like if all of a sudden there's a fire and a panic happens and people start running out this way, they're going to come over here and the door opens in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So then when we got the building and we put a fire exit over there, we had to work with the fire department. So in case of a fire, the stage manager comes out and says, "Ladies and gentlemen," and they go, "Alan, can you please go to the fire exit?" And then Alan will come and he'll open the door. And then the stage manager goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, there's a fire," and panic can ensue. But then, so it's because Alan has opened the door this way. It's going to come all the way.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is where the ghost lives. So then it's multiple actors have said that they've seen the little boy. It's a little boy, apparently. And then actors have done seances and talked to them, and they've known things. But then people leave candy here for the ghost.
And is it gone some of the times?
Every night. I mean, different people in different shows have seen a little boy enter this way, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, somebody needs to watch that door." And then there's nobody.
Wow.
And then I've never seen them.
Did they find out what his story is, like who he is or why he's here?
No.
Wow. I'm so glad we did this tour in the daytime. How did the idea to create this theater come about in the first place? What is the origin story of Kumu Kahua Theatre?
Oh, of Kumu Kahua? Well, it was founded by a new professor at the University of Hawaii named Dennis Carroll. And he and a group of grad students got together on a mission to bring new plays and experimental plays and plays written by Hawaii writers about Hawaii. Dennis Carroll, he was the teacher. He's from Australia, so he studied the indigenous theater there. And then he wanted to study indigenous theater here, and then he realized we needed to create it. Yeah, so then that's probably the main focus since I've become artistic director. We want to start creating an indigenous theater. And then, it's interesting because theaters on the continent, on the mainland, they always go, "Are you an Asian American theater?" And they say, "Oh, we do these plays. We do Ed Sakamoto, and John Sherrod." And they go, "Oh, we do that too. You're an Asian American theater." And I go, "Oh no, I can't say that because we also do plays by Alania Pio, which is about Hawaiians. Or we'll do a play about the Samoan diaspora, and written by a New Zealand writer. I have to keep telling them we're local, you know what I mean, which is different.
Which they probably still don't even understand
Yeah.
the concept of that, right?
Yeah, like when I spent a year in Washington, D.C. at a theater. I was an Alan Lee Hughes fellow. So I was a person of color that could go and study under the professionals there at the theater at Arena Stage in D.C. They would meet somebody from Hawaii, and they would go, oh, they're Hawaiian. And they go, oh, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. They're from Hawaii. You can call them local. But like me, I'm part Hawaiian. So I'm a Hawaiian. And they're like, what? Like how you're a Californian if you're from California.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say that you're a Hawaiian. So then it's the same thing like with Kumu. Like that. We're a local theater. We tell the stories of all the people who live here or who lived here or who have moved here.
When you decide, since you're the artistic director, when you're choosing what kind of shows and stories to tell here, what are some of the things that you're looking for, or what is some of the inspirations that you are motivated by?
I believe that theater needs to both celebrate, right? In this case, being from here and the history of this place, and then also confront it at times. So then for me, it kind of always begins with the writer or a group of people who want to say something to the community. Yeah. Even though I believe that creating beauty and providing entertainment is important, I also believe that theater with that ability to confront preconceived notions is important. And then when I read a play and I see that a writer really needs to say something to the community, then that's kind of what drives me. And even if the play is unfinished, I believe that then we need to provide the place for that writer to finish telling their story. And then so that's the first thing that's important to me, is that if the writer has something important they want to say, and then and then making sure that that's communicated, number one, to the artists that are going to be working on it, then to the audience that's coming to see it.
Yeah.
For the longest time, right, whatever media you were going to, be it television or the movies, you never saw yourself represented.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Honolulu Theater for Youth make sure that children of Hawaii are represented, like that. Their stories are being told. And then it's the same thing like with Kumu Kahua, it's the people coming and going, oh, that's my auntie, like that. Oh yeah, that's just how my uncle behaves. Or, like, oh my goodness, that girl, like if she was my daughter, I would, that's the joy of recognition. Yeah. I think is I think also important. And then that's one of the things I look for too, and then this there's no other way to say it, right? When I was growing up, my parents never said, hey, buddy bud, we go watch one play tonight. You know what I mean? Yeah. We either went bowling or we went to like the drive-in movie or whatever. And then theater was something you were forced to read, in English class,
right.
Like that. It was like Julius Caesar or something horrible. And not that Julius Caesar's horrible.
I'll say it. He's pretty bad.
And then, but then, so nobody said, or like, just to be blunt, it was something that Howleys did,
Yeah.
And then, so that's the other thing Kumu Kahua is for, it's for like, hey, this theater can tell your story, so then the guys who come and they work on the air conditioning over here, every now and then they have to come, like I said, and recalibrate and make sure everything's working. Yeah. They come in and they go, and then I'm misrepresenting them, but I'm just going to do this pidgin. And then it's like, hey, SWAT bro, what kind of theater is this? And they go, oh, it's a live theater. And then we're doing this story, that it's about a Japanese couple and they're losing their land and how they're going to fight for it. And they're like, oh, for real? Hey, maybe I should bring my wife and get some culture. And I go, oh, well, yeah, yes, but you know, it's also just they're speaking like us, and they're people you recognize. But those are the guys I want to come, you know, like that, and see that their life can be put on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, like unlike film where you got to get like crazy money just to like feed the extras.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, in theater's like punk rock. It's the DIY, you know, like that of like performance. You know, you just get some people together and like you can come here and you can do a play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's I think that's also a thing that Kumu Kahua provides. Yeah, is a platform. That's what Kumu, right, is like source. Yeah, and Kahua is the name of the mound that hula was performed on. So then it's the source of that theater, you know, like that. It's the mound you can come and perform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of the interesting things is that, you know, even just from the 70s, the way pidgin is spoken has changed.
Yep.
You know, so then there are plays that have been preserved, that written down, where they're speaking plantation pidgin, you know, like that, which is different. And then, so now like and then they're like kids and 20-year-olds speaking that plantation pidgin. And then if I held an audition for it, who I have to bring in like a specialist from the UH to tell them how to say, Aya, Bombay, Pilikia, you know, and then that's Aya, Chinese, Bombay, I don't know.
Yeah, where did that come
Pilikia.
from?
You know, it's like, those are 3 languages in one sentence that they said constantly.
Yeah.
And so then it's that idea of preserving, you know, like the way that people speak and how they act is also one of the things that actually Dennis Carroll had thought about. Yeah, is creating a repertoire of plays that represented Hawaiian history.
Yeah.
This is only from 2004, all the shows that have been done.
It's almost like a museum, being able to look back at the different things that have been put on here and seeing some of the faces that were part of it. Are these posters of shows you did here too?
Oh yeah, this is the earliest posters. So then these were all made by UH students, actually. The theater used to be a student organization. So then when I first joined was, I think, 1989, that man, Dennis Carroll, he asked me to be on it because I was still a student at the University of Hawaii. Donna was actually at TCG, a theater communications group conference. And I said, everybody who has done a play by a person of color, please stand. And then like 8 people will stand in a room of 100 something. Wow. And then they'll go, okay, and then how many of those plays were directed by a person of color? Donna and one other person stood.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then, so then it's, I mean, I don't know, you take it for granted, you know, until you go out into the world, you know, like what's going on. If you went high school here and then all of a sudden, you know, like that, you have to start a family and when you're in high school, you did theater, you know, and then now that your kids are in high school or they're going off college or they're going military or whatever, you know, like that, now I have free time, you know, like that. I still have to work, but my evenings are free. Come over here, you know, like that. And then like, maybe you'll be the next Moses Goods, you know, like maybe you'll be the next Dan Secchi, who's been in like movies and stuff like that. Cause that's what Dan did. Yeah. He had 2 kids. They were like in high school and he's like, oh, you know, I always wanted to act. And he came here and then he got cast in the show. So then, and then that's the other thing. And the other thing is that, you know, keep an eye out for our classes. Yeah. Because like everybody has a story. Once I met somebody from the mainland and they heard about me and they wanted to like talk to me and they were like, oh, you know, how many stories are there here? And I said, there are as many stories as there are people in the phone book. Do you guys remember the phone book? And then I said, yeah, there are many stories as there are people in the phone book. Yes, there are. You know, maybe your story should be on stage. maybe, like that. Or maybe you should write a short story or like a poem or an essay, but maybe it can be converted to the stage. And that's what we're here for. Yeah. So then keep an eye out for our classes and auditions, and like you might be the artist that saves theater in Hawaii. You might be the artist to tell a story that will change somebody's life. And then that's what the theater is for.